Okay. So good evening, everyone. Thanks
Evening.
for joining us today for today's meeting. And okay, to introduce who will be speaking to us today, her name is Kenechi Ugwoke. She's a senior manager for sales, steering, and business development, Sub-Sahara Africa at Lufthansa Group. She has over a decade experience in the aviation industry, 5 years as a senior manager with team leadership responsibilities. Apart from developing and driving business, she's passionate about coaching and people development. For fun, she loves to travel and discover new places, cultures, and people. Kenechi is currently based in Belgium. So I'll hand over to Kenechi now to give us further explanation of her career, walk us through her career and career development and the discussion we're having today. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Ngozi. It's really an honor to be here to share with you on the topic of leadership and career management for young professionals. Yes, for me, I have had quite some experience building a career and 5 years in leadership positions. So I'm happy that I am able to share a bit of that experience with you. But in addition, I would also be sharing with you some insights that I gained in a leadership training that I took not too long ago. And I found it really quite interesting that I thought I spoke to the coach and it was like, okay, can I share some of these insights with peers that might benefit from this? And yes, she was all for that. So I'm happy to also share with you my learnings, because life is a long journey of learning and every day improving and trying to become better in everything that we do. So let me share my screen and we can start. Can someone let me know if they see my screen and if they hear me properly? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, Kenechi.
Okay. So, just trying to navigate. So we would start from the leadership part. So I would tell you what we would discuss today. On the leadership part, we would look at really who is a leader. We would talk about authenticity and leadership. Then we would get a bit practical and talk about leading a team at work. And there I will be sharing with you some of my best practices that have worked for me. I would speak a bit on communicating with impact. And finally, work-life balance. Then we will take a short, we would pause a bit and take some questions and contributions, because I know in the audience we have a really varied group. We have some people with a lot of leadership experience, and some younger people who are still starting in their careers. So I want to get a bit of the contribution from the different people. Maybe we can take 3 contributions or questions, and maybe your questions get me to talk a bit more also about my personal experiences. So that will be part 1. And then for part 2, we will talk about career management, and I will give you some tips for developing your career. And we would spotlight on harnessing your network and career planning. Then we would then take also some questions and contributions. I want this to be interactive. I don't want to speak all by myself. So please feel free to raise your hand if you want to if you want to make if you want to ask a question, but I think it's best we keep it to the slots that I have set aside for the questions and contributions. So, who is a leader? We would look at two aspects. Mainly, for me, a leader is anyone who leads, guides, or influences others in one or more aspects of life. So you don't have to have official authority or responsibility over people to be a leader. You can be a leader, you can be an opinion leader, you can be a leader by your actions. People tend to follow people that they respect and people that that express behaviors and opinions that motivate them and they can believe in. So I believe that everybody on this call is a leader in some, whether at work, at home, in some area of life, you're a leader. So I hope we can find a lot of common points today and that you can share as well from your perspective. So to start, as I don't want to do all the work, we would start with a bit of an interactive session. Please go to menti.com. On your mobile phones, just go to your browser, type www.menti.com and enter the code 7648940. And there you will see the question that I have for you. Can someone write in the chat box if they're able to do this?
Yeah, please reshare. Let me type it on the chat box, please.
Okay. One moment. So let me know when you have it so I can switch to the screen.
I have it, thank you.
Okay.
Please call the code again.
Sorry?
Please call the code again. 7648. What else? What else?
Yes, 7648940. Okay, we're getting some inputs. So I see transparency, empathy, trust. These are good points. Keep them coming. Firmness. Very important. Innovation, yes. Integrity, very good point. Confidence, definitely. Humility, of course. What are we seeing? Selflessness, yes. That's a good one. What's new now? Approachable, yes. Dedication, yes. Charisma, yes, that definitely helps. Follower, good point, yes. I think follower goes together with humility, you know, as a leader. We don't have to think that we always have to be in front or we always have to make the rules and others have to follow. Sometimes we should follow. That's a mark of humility. Commitment, definitely. Influence. Drive, yes, that is quite important. Knowledgeable, very important. For people to respect you, to respect your opinion, you need to know what you're talking about. So Understanding, yes. That's a good one. Strong-willed. Okay. Yeah, but not too strong-willed. You need to also be able to listen to input. You know, if you're too strong-willed and it just is everything about what you want, then that can be a problem. Meticulous. Yeah, that is good up to a point. Cheerfulness. Yes, that definitely helps. Assertiveness. Yeah. Okay, so I see really a lot of very good points. We know we have really a good understanding of what is needed, what good qualities we need as a leader. So I will just summarize all of this. One moment. Yeah. So essentially what we're saying, you know, is that a good leader needs to have some qualities in order to be able to lead. A good leader needs to have essential values and purpose. Purpose is very important. You know, you need to know where you're going to be able to draw other people to follow you. People like to follow people that they know, they feel knows the way or know where they're going. I don't think anybody mentioned courage, but courage is very important. As a leader, you're going to face a lot of challenges. So what keeps you going is a courage. What keeps you pushing forward is courage. Someone mentioned innovation. Yes, innovation is very key. Creativity, thinking outside the box, very important. A point that did not really come across clearly is self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is very important as a leader. You need to know yourself, understand yourself, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, be able to harness your strengths, you know, and work on your weaknesses. But I'll come back to the topic of self-knowledge later. Self-confidence is very important. You need to be convincing for people to believe you or to want to follow you. So definitely important. Radiate natural strength and generate respect. That comes with confidence. You need to be able to work from a place of strength rather than anxiety. When people feel that you're anxious, you're unsure, they get anxious, you know, so they don't want to follow that. A good leader also is someone that allows their leader to be authentic, their followers to be authentic, to be themselves. You know, people should not be pretending when you're around. Your staff should not suddenly behave differently because you're around. You know, they should be able to be themselves when you're around. Also, a good leader is able to accept themselves for what they are and not worry about every little thing, every little mistake, not worry about it. So essentially, a lot of things that come out of the points you mentioned and what I've just talked about is authenticity, being yourself, being authentic, being real. More and more, this is seen as being very valuable for leaders of today. So what is authenticity? Authenticity is about the ability to be yourself and lead yourself by knowing yourself. To know yourself is about being aware of your personal iceberg. So being aware of all the experiences, all the opinions, all the education, all the things that constitute your personal bias, that constitutes your different quirks that make you behave the way you do. You need to really understand that and be able to accept it and work with it as best as possible. Authenticity is also about being open to challenges, being open to stepping out of your comfort zone, not only operating within the space that you know and understand. Also, authenticity is about seeing yourself as work in progress, not as a final product. Some people feel that they know it all. They are so educated and everything. So their mind is closed to getting any new information. And, once you stop getting new information, you stop developing. So that is not authentic. So for you to be an authentic leader, you need to always be learning, be open to learning, be open to growing at all times. So now onto a more practical aspect. Let me stop sharing that so that I can move on to my next topic. So I want to share with you some of my best practices leading a team at work. So in my experience, there are five items that I really need to get right in order to lead a team at work. So it's very important to establish clear vision and goals for your team. Like I said before, every follower wants to know why they are doing what they are doing for them to do it. I mean, some people just do it because they get paid for it. But it helps when they have a vision and they have a goal, and then they work with you to achieve that. Number two, effective task planning and time management. This is very crucial for you to achieve your goals. You need to be able to plan with your team, plan the tasks according to the time available, and be able to allocate the resources as best as possible. Then delegation. This is a very important point. As a leader, you need to get away from trying to do everything by yourself and delegate as much as possible. Get your team to be able to support you. Some people say, oh, but I would spend more time, getting them to do it right because I have to correct them. Why don't I just do everything by myself? That is a trap. The more you do, the less your team develops, and the less you develop, because you cannot learn something new. You're stuck just doing that, So delegate, but take the time to coach, empower, and develop your team. Take the time. It's an investment that will pay you back in triple fold, There is no point in hoarding knowledge that you have. I mean, I think there is a pleasure in being able to impact other people's lives, but not, to be able to say that, okay, once these people pass through me, they pass through me better. They become better than they met me. So I think that is something that is even good for us. But on top of that, for your team, they take the work off you, and make things easier for you. So take the time, coach and empower them. And when I talk about empowerment, I also mean allowing them to take decisions for themselves, allowing them to be responsible for, for a good number of things, making them feel that their contribution matters, their work matters, giving them responsibility, let them feel responsible, and when they feel responsible, they really pull in the same direction because they are in it, as much as you are in it, So yeah, I cannot overstress the importance of that. Then the last point would be maintaining team harmony and cohesion. This is so important. When your team is at peace, when everyone is at peace with each other, when there are no, elephants in the room, topics that everybody knows is a pain point but is being avoided. When those things don't exist, the team is happy. They work together, they work in harmony, everybody can talk to everybody else. So this is really important. I give some tips on how to do that in the next pages. Okay, so on this slide, I talk about the need for clear vision and goals. So in my experience, I've seen that what employees struggle a lot with, there are three things they struggle with. They struggle with, what am I supposed to do? Why should I do it? And how should I do it? And setting a clear vision and goal for them helps them answer these questions, and gets them really participating in their work in a purposeful manner. In today's world, youths are really exposed, not just youth, people are in tune, everybody is informed. People want to do things because it matches their purpose in life, or it's something they support. So once you can sell the vision to them as something that aligns with what they believe in, they would support it wholeheartedly. So I put a quote below: successful leaders are able to sell a vision to their followers. Once sold, the followers not only follow effortlessly, but also fight for the cause and help to sell it to others. This is my personal experience. When my team, they understand what they're supposed to do, they go running. Like, I hear them training people, teaching people. I don't have to give any instructions. I don't have to say anything. It becomes theirs. They own it, and this is what every leader should try to accomplish for their team members, that they own it, that they feel ownership, they feel responsible, and not because of fear of a query or fear of just for doing their job. No, because they believe in it. So on the second point, my second point on the other slide, where I talked about task planning and organization. Indeed, organization, structure, and discipline is everything for you to get from a state of chaos to a state of peace, of being in control, of knowing that, you got this and things are working out right. So I put together some practical tips for increased efficiency at work, to increase your productivity. So the first point, ensure that the team tasks are organized in a workable manner. So don't give them things that are not realizable. Give things that are doable. Have a weekly and daily work plan. And this is very important. Update your Outlook calendar or whatever calendar you use according to your work plan, and try to stick with it. Schedule appointments for yourself to perform tasks so your calendar matches your activity, and your colleagues see when you are busy. Because in our very busy work environment, everyone is trying to set up meeting for this, meeting for that. If you don't have your calendar up to date, people would keep putting, making requests, and you will realize you don't really have time to do your work or time to focus and, take things, even take a break. So try as much as possible to put your tasks on your calendar, to put when you're busy on your calendar. It doesn't have to be when you're having a meeting that you put it, that it's not only for meetings that you put on your calendar. Normal daily work, schedule it. Your lunch time, schedule it. These things are important so that you have a structure and you are in control. One thing that I see, in my years at work, it was certainly a challenge for me. Emails are always coming in. There will always be emails. Try to remember that you are in charge, not your emails. I mean, if you work at a service desk, then I understand if you're constantly checking your emails. But if you're not at a service desk and your work is really maybe strategy based or a back office function that you need to get work done, then try to set time intervals for checking emails in line with your work plan. In your work plan, try to schedule even the times you check your emails. Maybe check your emails 5 times a day. I know it's hard, but it helps your efficiency. And I don't even just talk about emails. This also goes for social media and all of that. But I would still get to that point. Now, within your emails, set up folders in order to prioritize your time. So I found that setting up a CC folder helps me. What is a CC folder? A CC folder is basically a folder where I make a rule in Outlook that all emails that I am in copy and it's not directly addressed to me, that such emails go to a specific folder. So the effect of this is that the emails that come directly to my inbox are emails that need my personal attention. They are addressed directly to me, but emails that go to my CC folder is more things I should know, for me to know, but not for me to action. So putting that in a different folder and having times where I just go through all the things that have been copied in helps me to better manage my time. Also, have a subscription folder where all your newsletters and those kind of emails that come in, they just go straight to your subscription folder. So they are not distracting you. When you have the time, in the allocated time, you go to your subscriptions and you go through those things. But something like subscription they are not that important. They're not urgent. So they don't need your urgent attention. So it makes sense that they don't come into your main inbox. I also like to have a pending folder for maybe emails that I have actioned, but I'm waiting for a feedback or waiting for it to be resolved. That helps some people to be able to follow up, just some ideas. Minimize distractions while at work. Example, social media and push notifications. Constantly chatty colleagues, that can be very distracting sometimes. Some of us work in open offices where everybody is sitting around each other. In that kind of environment, people are going to talk. There's no way colleagues will not talk. So try to organize yourself, maybe go to a meeting room when a meeting room is available, when you need to do some really focused work. This can really be a point of distraction for many. Maintain a healthy balance with breaks, lunchtime, and social interactions. It seems trivial, but it is very important. You need to have your mental state intact for you to perform optimally. Okay, I see somebody raise their hand. Do they, let me see. Can they comment? Do you want to ask the question now, or you would wait for the question time? Can the person just comment? Let me see, who was it? Ngozi, can you help me out with that?
Sorry, Kenneth, the person's device is not connected, so the person won't be able to talk.
Oh, okay. Okay, so are they writing in the chat box? Sorry, I'm in the presenter mode, so I'm not seeing the chat. Okay, so I will continue then. We already talked about coaching, empowering, and developing your team. You are as strong as your team is. Yeah, I cannot overemphasize that. Know your team members, allocate resources based on their strengths. Try not to give something to someone that you know that they don't like, their personality or their knowledge is not in tune with that task. Don't give them something that will just frustrate them. But of course, I'm not saying do not develop them to learn to do it or to grow to do it, but some people are just better at some things because of their personal inclinations. So know your team members. Believe in your team. Believe in your team. You are one team. You know, it shouldn't be about who is looking better. You should not be trying to look better than your team as a leader. Believe in your team, support them and empower them. Give them freedom to take initiative and find their own solutions. You do not need to have all the answers, which is good. That takes some pressure off from me as a leader, just knowing that I don't need to have all the answers. And it's humbling as well to know that. And your team, they're happy to know that they can support you and they can also give you the answers. So that is very important to also appreciate them when they do that. Then take the time to give meaningful feedback and evaluation. This is very important. I would spend some time on giving feedback because I think this is very crucial for getting the work done. So from my personal best practices, I would say address shortcomings in a concise manner, focusing on situation at hand. Be as specific as possible with your feedback so the individual takes a tangible lesson. Do not attack the personality or dig up unconnected history. This is a mistake that many of us make. When you're correcting someone, you then tell the person, you are always doing this, or maybe you then use a word like you're incompetent or you're stupid. Oh my God, these words can kill a soul. When you use such words, you attack the personality instead of just addressing the issue at hand. Avoid blame games and shaming. Do not use the opportunity of feedback to shame anybody. Anybody can make a mistake. Even if they've been making the same mistake over and over again, still correct them in a humane manner and in a polite manner. Then highlight the value of the preferred action, or the outcome or behavior. This is quite important. I have, in my team, especially when you have people that are advanced, maybe they are 20 years older than you, or they have experience, they know stuff, so you have to be really careful. But even if they're not older than you, or maybe they're younger and they have a lot less experience, it's always good to let them know the value of the preferred outcome. Don't just assume that because you said they should know. No. Explain to them, make them understand. In all of this, maintain a positive and enabling environment, because a lot of communication is verbal and non-verbal. So if the employee is getting a positive vibe even while being corrected, they are more likely to listen to you than if they have a very negative, unwelcoming environment. They feel it's poisonous. It sets a negative tone for the work. Even if they were the ones that were wrong, it's more difficult for them to take your correction. Essentially, avoid giving feedback in anger. Give room for the employee to provide feedback, explanation. Let them also have the room to explain themselves. Sometimes they may have had a good reason. It also may have been not a good reason, which you can still point out to them. But I think it's good for them to be able to let it out. If they don't let it out to you, they bottle it up, they let it out elsewhere where it might not be, where it might be poisonous for you. So give them the room, give them a positive atmosphere. And finally, try to sometimes put yourself in the shoes of the other. Try to, take a different perspective on things. Sometimes if you see it from the other perspective, it might not be so bad after all, So that's humility. Then celebrate and appreciate successes. I mean, a friend was telling me how he left the work that he was at because they never appreciated him. He was pretty much doing the work of two people. But, it was as if it's just expected. He's doing his work. He was not appreciated. No, thank you. No, oh, great job. But anytime he does something wrong, they will quickly tell him about it. So it creates also a toxic environment when you never give positive feedback. So celebrate their successes. They do a lot of things right. Don't just take it, oh, but it's your work. No, celebrate it when they do it well. So that when they don't do it well and you're cautioning them, they understand and they totally want to turn around and do the right thing because they know that you will celebrate them. Okay, so those were my best practices on giving feedback. And now also some best practices on maintaining team harmony and cohesion. So I do one-to-one sessions with team members. That usually helps, gives them an avenue to talk to you, to express themselves, to share their fears, their concerns, to give you any feedback that they might have. Remember, if they're not telling you anything, they're telling somebody else, and it's not always healthy. So give them the room. Regular team meetings Not overkill, but at least I think once a week is usually nice, depending on the size of your team. Establish an exchange platform. Yeah, I think most of us do that. Organize team bonding events. Yeah, that was before Corona. Support and be a cheerleader for your team members. Definitely. Respect and uphold each person's human dignity. They might be reporting to you, but they might be mothers, fathers, you know, people with responsibility, great people, you know, by their own right. But even if they were not doing such great things, we are all humans and we all deserve human respect and human dignity. A friend recently told me her experience working at a new place that she worked, where she explained how she was treated. I think apparently she did not pick up her phone, or she didn't know her phone was ringing, and one of her bosses had been calling her. So by the time she got to the office, he was already angry that he had been calling her to bring the key to open the office, and she did not pick his call. Meanwhile, she hadn't even seen the call, and she arrived to work at the right time she was supposed to arrive to work. Do you know what this person did? He collects the key from her, opens the key, opens the office, enters the office, bangs the door in her face, tells her to go back home to wherever she came from. You know, such kind of treatment just because she did not see your call or she did not pick your call, you know? She was really pained. I mean, she explained her experience to me. I was even pained. It didn't happen to me, but I was pained. He banged the door and didn't let her into the office, told her to go home, you know? So there's such behaviors that we can give to other people that it's just not, it shows that you don't recognize the other person's human dignity. You know, you don't respect the other person because they report to you, because you have this small power, you know, that you then start treating people within your responsibility in crass, in an undignifying way. So really, this is an aspect that I think we need to all be careful about, that we consider the other person, we respect as much as possible. Maintain an open door policy, you know, keep a positive and enabling environment. Address elephants in the room as soon as possible. Yeah, I mentioned that already. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so now about communication. One thing, all behavior is communication, you know, the way I talk, the way I look, everything is communication, and all communication influences. Communication is how you see yourself and how other people see you. Essentially, how you show up, how you talk to your colleagues in the office, it's all you're communicating, even to people that you're not talking to directly. What you think, usually you will show by how you act. And what you show, you would usually get back. These are just some words of wisdom. So on communicating with impact, again, my personal best practices. It's okay. Be conscious of how you communicate and how your words affect others. We need to also observe how people react to you, react to things that you say, and adapt how you communicate based on the kind of response you get. Know your audience, definitely important. The way you talk to a young person is probably not the same way you talk to someone that is maybe 30 years your senior. Or know your audience, know their experiences, know their background, and then adapt your communication accordingly. Preparation is key. Stay prepared. Prepare your points ahead of time when you have meetings so that you can present in a structured manner. Speak firmly, speak with confidence. People tend to believe you more. Avoid using fillers that put your authority and expertise in question. So I mean, sometimes I am guilty of this, but I have also seen that, some people I have worked with, they also falling prey to this. So you're saying something that you know very well, and then you say, I guess. But this is something you know. It's just a filler, and for you it's comfortable, I guess. I think, I don't know, but you know that those fillers that put your knowledge or put your expertise in question, they're not good for you. So be conscious when you use it and try to remove them from your diction, from your speech. Then positively build on contributions from others. Don't only push your own contribution. Acknowledge the input of others. This also helps to buy you goodwill, and it makes people also listen to you more. When they feel that this person is always talking, sometimes they tune you out and you think that you are talking and getting across, but they're not listening to you anymore. So also listen and add on to what people have contributed. Use positively affirming words like yes and instead of yes but. Because once you put the but, it's like you have nullified your yes. I know that one is hard, but yeah. Sometimes also there are nicer ways to say no. You can say no, but there are some ways that you say it and it's better accepted. Keep your calm, be in control of your emotions. Like I mentioned before, if you're angry, you might want to wait to calm down before you give that feedback or before you confront your colleague. Yeah, so those are just some best practices. Now, on to the work-life balance. This is an aspect that many of us struggle with. We as we young professionals, a number of us are not yet with family, so we tend to think that we are better at work-life balance. But even for us, it's a challenge because when you don't have a family, for instance, other things come and take the space and take the time. Sometimes you end up being expected to work more hours, even if you're not expected, you just automatically work more hours and not really paying attention to your balance. So we all should be careful about our balance and try to take care of the work, or let me even start the self first. Try to take care of the self, the family, then the work, and then the community. Try to strike a balance across all of these elements as best you can. Let me have some more. So there is a little exercise that I learned in my training, about how to improve life balance. One school of thought is to map your energy drains and to map your energy sources. Try to limit your energy drains as much as possible. Try to reduce it as much as possible. And on the other hand, try to boost your energy gains as much as possible. So what are energy drains? Energy drains are, things that you might be doing, maybe when you do them too much, it makes you feel stressed, makes you feel weak, tired, unmotivated, basically. I'll show you some examples. So maybe at work, you get stressed when you have a lot of admin stuff to deal with, or you have a lot of emails to address, or there is a lot of talking and noise that you cannot really focus, or your boss keeps sending you queries. These can be a source of energy drain. It can also be when you're getting too little support or too little appreciation from your management. On the part of the self, it could be that you are aiming for perfection, too much perfectionism. That can really drain your energy because nobody is perfect. Or it can be that you like to help people. So all the time you're trying to help people, but you do it a bit too much that it becomes energy draining. Or you are trying to do everything at the same time, multitasking. Sometimes that can have negative returns. It's also possible that you're having too little alone time for yourself, too little personal reward, like maybe you never give yourself a vacation or a trip to the spa. You think that is luxury. Or, it can be little things as well, but that can be draining to your energy. And yeah, you see also the examples for family and for community. So these are things that you can think about, things that cause you to lose motivation, cause you to feel maybe dejected, stressed. It's good that we all maybe do this chart. That's why I showed the first slide without input, that we all do the chart by ourselves when we have reflection time, and think of those things that drain our energy and try to limit it as much as possible. On the other side, those things that boost your energy, what makes you feel good. Also to think about this, some examples, like at work, maybe you feel good when you have a new project to deal with, or when you go on training, or you're coaching others. Think about that and note it for yourself and try to get more of it in your life, because that would help you to feel better in the different spheres of your life. For yourself, maybe for all of us here, it's YCP. Hopefully praying makes us feel good and gives us an energy boost. Really, meditation is really very helpful. Retreat, relaxing holiday. It could be a stroll by the seaside that makes you feel good. So think about those things that make you feel good. For family, maybe quality time with your family, a romantic getaway, or praying together. Think about those things and try to inculcate them more in your life. It will help your overall work-life balance, your overall balance, and your life journey. So here is summarize some tips to overcome stress and have more energy. 1, focus on what's really important. A lot of the times, the things we focus on are not really important. So it helps to take a step back from time to time and think about, is this really worth my time, or is it worth all this energy that I am putting? And then the second point, reframe your thinking in a positive way. Think more positively about yourself. Also, think more positively about people. Try to look at what people are doing right. Don't always focus on what they've done wrong. Try to look at their good sides and focus more on that. And you see that the more you focus on the positive, the more it grows, really. Let go of perfectionism. Yeah, this one is, yeah, some of us fight with it. Let go of perfectionism. It really reduces the stress, it reduces your worry. It puts you more at peace, you know, and you can never be perfect. So then delegate and negotiate at work and at home. Yes. You don't have to do everything by yourself. I mean, we face these issues sometimes, even at home. Yeah, every time I'm the one doing everything, I have to do all the chores. I have to take the kids to school. I have to do this. I have to do that. And sometimes the other person, maybe your family members or your spouse, does not even know the burden that you face. You know, so sometimes it just takes talking about it, discussing it, and trying to negotiate. Yes, at work and at home, negotiate and strike a better balance for yourself that works for you, because you need to have your mental balance for it all to work. Put yourself first and don't feel guilty. You know, this seems like a harsh statement, but it's true. You need to be alive, you need to be healthy, you need to, in order to do your work optimally. So if you're not feeling fine, I don't see you let them know at the office that you're not feeling well, you know, and of course do it honestly. Don't go saying you're not feeling well when you are, you know, you just want to dodge work, because employees tend to know when people are playing those kind of pranks. But if you're someone that is always bringing your 100%, and then one day you're not feeling well, take the time off. You know, put yourself first. You need to have your mental, your physical balance. You need to be okay to be able to contribute optimally, both at work and at home. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of part 1. And I would like us now to take some questions and contributions before I continue. Hello. Okay, Ngozi, I don't hear you properly.
So
Okay, I'm trying to go through are there any hands up, first of all?
Yeah. Hi, Kenechi. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Please.
okay, hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I'm having internet issues. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to switch to my phone.
Okay, no problem. I'll just try to go through I see.
I raised my hand. That's me.
Okay. Who is speaking?
Kelly.
Okay. Yes, please go ahead, Kelly. If you
Okay,
can
so my
show yourself, that
question,
would be great.
oh my God, I will, but not at the moment.
If you can't, then it's fine.
Okay, I will, but not at the moment. Okay, so my
Okay.
question is in regards to your last um, statement about mental health and sanity and work-life balance and health, especially the health. So my employer, before he employed me, gave me a serious warning that he does not want to employ someone that always falls sick. Apparently, the day I did my interview online, I was critically sick, and he used that against me and said he doesn't employ anyone that continuously falls. I told him it's not in my making to be sick. I don't know when I want to fall sick. So yeah, regardless of that, I just recently today, as of today, our HR resigned because from her health. Our my employer doesn't care. He said he doesn't want to employ anybody that falls sick, and this girl is critically sick. And on her sick bed, my boss threatened her that he's going to employ someone to replace her for 2 weeks, and they're going to deduct her salary. And
Wow.
today she has like today
And
I
just
got
for
to
2 weeks.
yeah, she was sick and he was like, I want to know the exact hospital you are in. I want to do this. And the girl is just a young girl that is just catching her baseball. She's doing in Lagos, anybody can be a HR, even though not so professionally. So she is the one that runs her family and all. And it was just today she was crying and telling me the story of how my boss threatened her that this is it. And she had to leave the hospital she was admitted for 2 days, came to the office, came to work the next day because this was happening last week because they were going to cut down her salary. So how do you want to deal with this kind of situation? Because today she has resigned and she said it's better for her to resign and not to die. My boss doesn't care. So how do you want to handle such? How do you want to handle an employer that tells you you can never fall sick for me?
Mm.
Yes.
Wow, that's a tough situation there.
Like since today, I have not been thinking straight because she called me and was telling me, oh, Kelechi, I've resigned. I'm no longer the HR for so and so company. I'm like, wow, how? She told me last week that this is what she has been going through. And that has not left my brain. Like I've been thinking about it.
Wow.
So that was why I asked her the day I did interview. Anna asked her, is that the reason why he told me he does not want to employ anybody that ever falls sick?
Hmm.
So I was trying to relate. So what, in case of when such a time comes, maybe for me and I'm critically ill, like God forbid I'm not so critically ill, what I see it coming for him, not for me. So what was your advice? That's all. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That's really a very difficult situation that nobody wants to find themselves in. I believe that most reputable places of work have policies around healthcare, and what happens if you fall ill, for a certain period of time. I don't know what this place is. I don't know what their own policies is. I believe that even the Nigerian government has at
It's
least
not
some
structured.
minimum policies.
It's not structured. It's not structured
Okay. Yeah,
anyway.
that's the unfortunate thing, that a lot of these startups and young companies, they really do not care a lot about the employees, unfortunately. And you would really need to find the ones that consider human dignity, for them to treat you well. It's really unfortunate. Some of these, for those kind of places, I mean, probably in the employment, they don't give you a proper employment contract. that you can even hold against them. So those things, they're not even stipulated. You just okay, come to work, you know. So it's difficult to regulate such things. And I mean, your colleague resigned, which, yeah, I wouldn't like to work in such a place. So she made a bold move, a good move, but it's not an option that a lot of people can take. A lot of people cannot afford to just resign, you know. So I must say it's very, it's unfortunate, but I think that for such a culture to change, it takes every one of us sensitizing as much as possible, wherever we can, talking in whatever groups that we're on, trying to influence the mindsets of employers, especially the small scale employers, you know, to be able to change their policy, their practices, their inhumane practices, you know. I know for them, they are also worried they don't have buffers. If things go wrong, they don't really have a lot of buffers to fall back on, like the bigger companies. So it's hard for them, you know, but for I can only advise such employers to rethink and to really value their employees, because the more you invest in the employee, the more, like now she's been gone for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks. It's not even like 3 months or 1 month, just 2 weeks. Yes, it's not an ideal situation, but if he showed her goodwill at this point, the kind of return he would have gotten on that goodwill would have been immense, because she will understand that, okay, he really, you know, went out of his way. He considers me. He values me. But now she has resigned. He has lost a talent, and he's going to have to train somebody else who has basically no experience. He's going to spend his time. So it's worse for him, really. It's worse for him, but he might not realize it. So you as the employee, there's only so much you can do. You can give feedback in a polite way, you know, but it's not your company. You can't. And
he's not approachable. He's not approachable.
Yeah. He's definitely not the kind of leader we're talking about. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We have a lot of leaders, you know, bad leaders. You know, sorry, there's no mincing words. We have a lot of bad leaders. It's unfortunate, but they are there. So in the end, it's his loss, unfortunately, because that's your colleague. She's going to find another work, hopefully, even if she suffers a little bit, she will. Oh, she has, you see, just because of
so
two.
that's for her. So I'm like, in a situation whereby, maybe God forbid I face that situation, what would be the best action to take, or maybe probably just like what could be the best action to take if I find myself, maybe I'm ill, and then I have a boss that doesn't want to know if I'm ill. He just wants me to be at work.
Yeah, I would usually look to the policies, whatever you signed at the time of your employment. It's very important when you're being employed that you talk about these things. If you're not getting a contract, ask for a contract. Ask for these things to be put in the contract, you know, so that you have a legal backing that you can fall back on. I mean, it's a difficult situation, but if you have nothing, there's no contract, it's difficult to fight it. Nobody can really help you fight it. Okay, we have to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. I see.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Kenechi, I'm back. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me all now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Kevin, your hands are up. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hey, can I?
Hey. Hey, Kevin.
How are you? Hello.
Hi.
Professionals.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been listening to what you're saying, And is at least I've also learned a lot today. So many. The one I learned most was the CC. The CC. That like my outlook, like I always have issues with that. Like every message copy, like you don't want. I have a bunch of them, like for me to even check every day, and that I get to learn today. I'm talking about the mental health, which is the basic reason I raised up my hand. The contribution is a question and also a contribution, just like the other was a name that asked about the question of a colleague being sick and how the boss threatened to fire her. That's only going to happen you know in our country, Nigeria, because um, just like you answered a question, just like you answered, the basic thing first is for you to read any contract. Is very important before you sign any contract at work. But the situation in that country, Nigeria, the employers, they know these things. They really know these things because they travel a lot and they see all these things happening in a developed country. But when they come, it has happened to me before. I've been a victim of all those kind of stuff. Like, they don't care about your welfare or your mental health. All they want is cheap labor, and they don't want to provide the necessary means for you to be able to work. And when you don't deliver as an employee, when you don't deliver, they they kind of like they want to get rid of you, but they fail to understand that they have to give you all those necessary, whatever you need to be able to work and deliver for the company. So those kind of stuff just happen in it, like in on I'll use the word on I don't want to use the word uncivilized because I feel we're civilized, but it's happening. I think not just our leaders. I'll say employees themselves. They're just selfish. That's just what I'm gonna say, because anybody that is working for you, you're supposed to provide. Health is very important. Like you're supposed to have like health insurance and some other stuff. And what I really want to add is that you've said it all, and just like I said, I learned from you today. What I really want to add is just you know those I don't know how to put it, but you said something about working and family and how to relax yourself, stress and all this stuff that you need to balance it. I had someone with me, my wife, who was the only part she understand about when you were saying the balancing was going on a romantic, but yeah, but
Oh, wow.
which is fun though, which is fun. But um, the other one is that the other one the other one you said about you said something about like how you're talking about leadership. That was where I came into the meeting, and that's the question. This is where the question is coming from. You said something about leadership that you were talking about. I can't really get it because I just came in, so that's what I want to ask. You said something about courage, and and so I was trying to get like, can you just explain a little bit about that leadership part? Like that was where I feel to when I came into the meeting. That's where I couldn't get. Like you said something about courage.
Yeah, I said that as a leader, you need to have courage. You need to have essential values and purpose so that people would follow you. You need to be creative, innovative. You need to know yourself. You need to understand your experiences and what is affecting who you are, what you do. You need to know yourself. And then you need to act from a place of that knowledge, while at the same time being confident, acting confidently so that people can follow you and believe you. And then being real to yourself, authentic. That's where I talked about authenticity, knowing yourself, being real to yourself, and not being afraid to show people your real self, your true self. You're muted, Kevin. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. So that's the place I was trying to get when you said just be yourself and don't be afraid. Just something should just be your real self. So for me, on that aspect, like I'm a kind of a real person, and sometimes it's
I'm sorry, Kevin, sorry for interrupting you. Sorry, please. We also have to take questions from other people. So can you like keep it short? Thank you.
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes when you try to be yourself at the workplace, it tends to create more like, I don't know how to call it, more jealousy or something. Like people get to like, you get that envy, that jealous, like people get to like jealous your person as being real, they just want you to fake it out with them. So that's, sometimes when you real, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes you might feel that. But the thing is, when you're not being yourself, people will also say, he's being fake. So there is always a reaction to whatever you do. And my take is that it's safer. It's less stressful, it's safer and more convincing when you're yourself. When you're yourself, you don't have to put up a front, so people know you, and people like the people that they can say, I know this person. I know it is not just a front. So they can be confident with you. They know how you would react in certain situations. They know, so they can be, they are sure of you, kind of. I don't know if you get my point. So it helps. They trust you better. You win their trust when you're authentic.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. Christabel, your hands are up. Please, can we keep the question short so others can ask their own questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, can you hear me though?
Yeah.
Okay, it's for me actually. Now, my question is, as regards the part where you talked about, as a leader, you should give maybe your subordinates or people who work with you tasks that you know that they do better at, right? So my question then now is, wouldn't that be limiting them in some way? And we know that there's a tendency in human beings to naturally want to stick within their comfort zone, right? Personally, I wouldn't subscribe to that to an extent, even though I feel like, yes, you get the best out of people when they do things that they are really good at or things they like. But my question is, wouldn't that be limiting them, the whole part of giving them tasks that they are good at or that they feel happy about? Thank you.
You're welcome. It's not just about giving them tasks that they feel happy about. What I mentioned is about knowing them and knowing, their personality, what they can and cannot do. So it goes a bit deeper. It's really a good understanding of your people. There are some people that it's like, it's a bit, let me use the example of what we do in Nigeria. Like maybe someone is really good with music, can sing, it comes alive when they do this and could potentially really do a lot if they were allowed to live their dream or follow through. But often what we do is we tell them, no, go and study engineering because that's where you would make profit. That's where you would be able to make good money and live a good life. So, but then in the end, maybe these people, they do engineering, they manage to survive, they're just getting by. They're not really happy. Yes, they did something, they managed to do it, they were not in their comfort zone, but are you getting the best of them? I don't think so. So for me, I think it's about knowing your people and knowing really how best to utilize their talents. It's like you having resources. You have resources. Know how to maximally deploy your resources to make maximum return. Of course, then with also the balance of your people in mind.
Okay, so Fumi, is that all? Has your question been answered?
Yes, it has. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Oscar Bruno. You can unmute yourself, your mic, and talk.
Yeah, good
Oscar.
evening, all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good evening.
yeah, good evening. Yeah, good evening. Okay, please, my name is Oscar. Okay, so now during my MSc, that was actually like I'm a med lab scientist anyway. So I noticed, a gap in this country. Okay, and that was in tropical disease research. So I told myself that I'm gonna fill that gap. And then one thing I noticed was that I'm supposed to get a PhD, for me to do that. So after the master's, I now enrolled for a doctorate degree. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I now enrolled for a PhD, and that was still at the College of Medicine, University of Lagos. But the Nigerian factor. For 6 years I was there, I couldn't achieve anything. So I now decided to, see how I can travel abroad.
Okay.
Hello, Oscar.
As my intention was my intention is on a private research laboratory in Nigeria. So I tried applying abroad, but then in the process, I now lost my dad, who was my backbone. And then his death meant that I also had to come back to the East. So now coming back to this, I'm now facing, trying to go back to the university, maybe starting afresh.
No, don't tap it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. Can you get straight to the point, please? Like straight to your question. Can you ask your question?
Mine is not just a question. I think I just have to give a brief description. So on getting back to this, now I'm now faced, with maybe either going back to university, that's starting afresh the PhD, which I was believing was a requirement for what I want to do, or then just forgetting about it and just jumping into the stuff, or maybe trying to maybe get maybe a government job or something like that. But then I decided to follow the option of forgetting about everything and then jumping into my dreams. But then, as now the while, I've looked so scared, because it requires a lot of experience, and then the resources also, which I was believing that had even I was able to travel abroad, I would have been well equipped. But then it still doesn't mean that I can't, I can't move into the ambition anyway. So my listen now, do you think, do you have any word for somebody like me who seems to be confused?
Well, I think maybe that's a good question to segue to our second half of the program, which is career management. Because Oscar, I see your question more as a career management question. So let's get into that segment. And if you still have, I hope I answered the question in the course of the presentation. Otherwise, we would see if we can still shed more light afterwards. Okay, so
Kenechi, sorry, please, I have a question of my own.
Okay.
Okay. So if one of the qualities of a leader you mentioned is that the leader should know how to delegate tasks and maybe duties or something that should be carried out within the team. What if you have maybe a boss or a supervisor that is not good at delegating? he always wants to do everything by himself, and at the end, nothing is really achieved. He's not really good at delegating tasks to his team members. What do you do? What do you do about that?
Well, it could be a good idea to talk to him and express your willingness to take on more tasks. Let it start it from yourself as though you just want to help him and support him. Tell him, oh, I know that we have to do this and this and this, and I see that you're working so hard. You can make him feel good in the process. You're doing all this good work. Yeah, but okay, I can support you, or whatever you call him. I can support you here. I did this so far, and look at the results I got. I can really, when they see that their team can do this stuff, usually they are supposed to delegate more, and they see that you have an interest, unless he has other reasons for not delegating. Maybe, I don't know, if he feels threatened. Does he feel threatened? Is that a problem in this case?
Not really.
Okay, then.
He's subordinate. He doesn't really feel threatened.
Okay, then this is easy. Talk to him, make him feel good about all the work he's doing and offer to help. I'm sure he would give you more to do.
Okay. Can we take one more question before we enter the next segment?
Okay.
Okay, Richmond.
One quick one.
Yeah, Richmond, please be quick.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Just a quick one on the having a boss who wants to get everything done. I have a different question in that line.
I cannot really understand what you're saying.
Okay, what I'm saying is that.
Yeah, now it's good.
Okay, my question is, having a boss who wants to get everything done. My question is on a different line. It's when the boss delegates, quite all right, but it wants to be the one that always tick off the work. You do a work, but if it's not signed by him, it's not reviewed by him, the work is not done. It's not good. Doesn't believe in the employee being able to do it the way it ought to be done. So the boss is just so perfectionistic, to put it that way, and feels everything has to come through him and from him and all that, and the work keeps piling and it slows down the work of the employee. So how do you manage that situation? Thank you.
Indeed, that's a tricky one. Because for you to get your work straight to maybe the director or whoever is the final recipient, if you go over this, your boss, then there might be harsh feelings if he literally expects to sign off on everything. So what might help in this case is maybe have a discussion with him and let him understand that because, well, first of all, you need to have given a track record of, really good work, of work that all he had to do was send. He didn't have to make any corrections. He didn't have to, change anything. When you have such a track record, I don't see why he would continue wanting to sign off on it. If he continues wanting to sign off on it, then have a discussion with him. Let him know that because of this extra layer of signing off, there is a delay in the work, and this is not good for your department. This is also not good for him. Make him just have a cordial discussion with him where you politely explain or point out some of the delays, maybe give an example or two that really there was no correction to be made, that if you could have sent it directly, there would have been no delay. And I think that could help. But indeed, it's such people, it's really important to talk to them. If they continue, you might have to talk to his boss. Let his boss then address it with him if it becomes really a problem.
Okay, Richmond.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now we can head on to the second part. Ngozi, I can go ahead, right?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. So let me share my screen again. Okay, so my first point is what you can do to develop your career. The first advice I would give is to be prepared. For you to be prepared, you need to learn the ropes. You need to build competence. You can also coach and be coached. This helps you even further in consolidating your competence. You can take up projects because that would help you to learn more, and it will also help you to expand your network and simply to be prepared for opportunities. So yeah, prepare. One point I didn't mention here are professional skill acquisition, professional courses that you can also take to distinguish yourself according to your particular focus. So the second main point is you need to be known. So be visible, find your voice and let it be heard. This would really help your career growth. Build your personal brand. Invest in having a personal brand. Like a company, you are also a brand. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, very important, network. Network definitely helps you to expand your horizon, to learn new stuff. I would get more into detail on networking. I would the spotlight on that. And collaborate. Collaborate with your peers, collaborate with other people in the industry, both in your company and in the industry. Don't just limit yourself to your company and your immediate circle. Have a plan. This is very important. You need to have a plan. And you need to put pen to paper. Sometimes we have a lot of thoughts in our minds, a lot of things we tangible goals. Know what you want and go for it. Know what you your desires, your history, you know a lot of stuff, and you're at peace with yourself. Then know what you want and go for it. Put it down, write down, this is what I want, and then try to set a map on how you would get there. Can be your friend, it can be someone from your family, and you can have a partner for different topics. Maybe For your financial topics, you have a partner. For your career goals, you have a partner. For different goals, you can have a different partner, and someone that really can help you to keep track of it, can challenge you on it from time to time and ask you, hey, what about this? You said you would do this and do that. Where are you now? You can even set up appointments with such accountability partners, in order to have it more structured. And you can also do offer it in reverse. You can also offer the same services to the other person, and help each other to grow, basically. Peer support, this is very important, especially at all stages, is very important. Be in touch with your peers. Be in touch with, it can be different support groups. It can be in church. It can be at work, everywhere. Have your peer support. And then mentors and sponsors. These are also quite helpful. Sometimes they are a bit difficult to define. So if you can find a good mentor and a good sponsor, definitely do it. But I know it can be a bit challenging to find the right one that and someone that would really be available to you and can really push you and help you. So I think often the accountability partners and the peer support are even more helpful than the mentors. But if you can get a good mentor, then that's great. And a sponsor is someone that maybe in your workplace, someone that more or less champions you, So when things are coming up, he's probably telling you first, and he speaks well of you in meetings or in gatherings, he sponsors you, and that can really help your career. So I talked about networking. Here, I think some of us maybe undervalue the power of networking. Networking is basically about helping each other, getting information, connecting, and growing. You get sources of expertise from your friends, from your contacts. You get insights in future developments in the company. You find out about industry trends, usually through your network. You find out about business opportunities. And a very important platform for this is LinkedIn. For us young professionals, although some of us are in the business of maybe we have products that we sell, then obviously Instagram, Facebook would be the choice if you are into retail, or if you're into products that is just directly to the consumer. But if you are working in a company and you're trying to grow your career in the company, build your career, your professional career, working for companies, then LinkedIn is really a great asset, really somewhere that everyone has to be on. Every young professional has to be on. On LinkedIn, you can connect to people that you know, as well as people that you don't know. And you get insight in a lot of topics, basically by when your friend likes something, it shows up in your feed, or they comment, it shows up in your feed. So you are seeing things that you normally wouldn't look at, but because somebody else is talking about it, it kind of pops up in your feed. So LinkedIn, very important. Try to build your network, try to increase the number of contacts that you have, but not just increasing the number of contacts that you have. Try to make valuable contacts, try to connect with the people somehow. Don't just, because everyone knows that everybody is trying to add contacts. Don't just make it a duty of adding contacts, but make it a duty of forming connections and building relationships. So when you connect with someone, you try to find, ways you can maybe collaborate, or things you can learn from the person, or things you can share with the person to solidify that connection. And be open to helping your connections. It's not just about you getting help, it's about you giving help. The more you help people, the more people help you. So yeah, that's on that one. And then in meeting people and in growing your network, you need to work on your mindset. For instance, if you go out for an event, you need to first of all feel positive about yourself, feel confident about yourself, feel that you are important and valuable. And when that is your mindset, people kind of gravitate. They feel like you can offer something, because everyone is looking for someone that can offer them something. That is unfortunate. I mean, I wouldn't say it's unfortunate, it's a reality of life. Everybody wants something from everybody else. So even when we don't know it. So if you show up like you can give value, then people value you. Mind your nonverbal communication. So how you show up, how you behave, it's not all about what you say. Take initiative, go for it and follow your intuition. So try to step out of your comfort zone and, be the one to make the first step. I think if I play the gender card here, sorry, but I think men are really good at this. They will come up to you better than if we put it in percentage than some women, they take more the initiative to reach out, to start the conversation. So for women, you need to be mindful of that you also can take the initiative and, walk up to this person you don't know, introduce yourself and start a conversation, So for that introduction, pay attention to the introduction, because that sets the tone of that connection. Be visible and stand out. It's that visible and standing out is about knowing yourself and being true to yourself. Don't go and be somebody else. Use your sense of humor to have fun and relax. Don't be too stuck up. It cannot be wrong. Be adaptable in your communication. Exchange cards or LinkedIn. Always try to, when you meet people, try to make a real connection. So it can be for LinkedIn or you give a card. I honestly prefer LinkedIn because you get more information about the person on LinkedIn. And then repeat the name, to remember. So your closure, don't try not to be too long, depending on the chemistry with whoever you're networking with. Try to keep it. Don't overstay your welcome. Make your closure short, powerful, and high energy. And ensure a follow-up. So, okay, so here I list some helpful tips for networking at an event. Decide who you want to meet. Ask for an introduction. You can also go and meet the speaker after the presentation. Also, during the presentation, ask questions, make notes, ask questions. You tend to stick out from the crowd. You can also bring a friend or colleague if it makes you feel more comfortable to move around. Yeah. Let your network evolve with you. So let it continue to grow. It's not a momentary thing. You keep meeting people, you know, and value the people in your life as well. Don't just focus on meeting new people all the time. Also value those ones in your life and keep the connection going. Find out how they are doing from time to time, you know, send them birthday wishes or keep in touch. It's very important. Okay, so this is the final point for networking at an event. Ensure a follow-up. Make a short note on the conversation and link on LinkedIn. So afterwards, make sure you get in touch. Otherwise, you lose that connection. Sustain the contact. Invest before you harvest, you know. Make sure you help people if they ask for it, but guard your boundaries. Of course, people should not take advantage of you, you know, but you should try to help as much as possible. Okay, so what do people who have successfully built up their career have in common? They have ambition and a can-do attitude. They have the courage to dream. They persevere, they engage, they commit towards their goal. They have years of hard work, personal development. They are ready to take new challenges and opportunities. So it doesn't come in a day. It takes years of hard work. They have taken risks, made mistakes, they've learned from them. So everyone, we are learning, we are all evolving. They have been helped by others, and in turn, they have helped others. So we have to help each other. And even people that are below our current rank, also help them, reach out to them. Tomorrow they may be your boss, you know? So, yeah. So I put this chart here, just something that can be filled. Make your career plan. Everyone needs to put pen to paper. It's in your hands to make your career plan. It's not just in your head. Put it down. What can you change today about how you're going about your career or your work? What do you need to stop in order to have a better progression, and what should you continue? So I think it's a good exercise that everybody can engage in. Then it's also good to have a personal development plan. Again, putting pen to paper. You know, have point on areas you feel that you need to develop to improve. Be clear on what you want to do, how you want to do it. And maybe with the help of your accountability partner, you can keep track, you know, define how you would keep track, whichever way, but it's very important. Put it down and try to follow through. It would really help you. Personal success plan also. Sometimes we are always going for new achievements, new successes that we forget our successes. So remember your successes. They will help you to move further. So put down your successes, write it down. What have I achieved? What have I done well? Celebrate them if you have not celebrated them, you know. Tell people about your achievements. People need to know you. That's how you become visible. Tell people about your achievements. Also, let them know how you can support them if you are able to support them, you know, because based on this success, maybe you can help someone with this. So this further helps our career planning, recognizing the successes and then working on the development plan. So that is my last main slide. I just have some final words of wisdom. Take things a step at a time. There will be challenges along the way, but that is part of what makes you stronger. Change will come. Do not get too uncomfortable. Do not get too comfortable with the status quo. This is very important. I mean, always remember that your work is just that. It is your work. It is a business. You know, it does not belong to you. It's not your father's business. Things can change tomorrow. Tomorrow, they might not want you anymore. They might not need your services. Be ready for that. Also, the business could suffer tremendously that it affects your work or affects your employment. Be ready for that. They could also decide that they want to restructure the whole company. As you know, I work in the aviation industry, and this year with coronavirus, the aviation industry is the hardest hit worldwide. And the impact of this is that our revenue, we basically fly very little of our capacity. Most of our planes are still on the ground even now. And essentially, we're not getting the revenues anymore. So the companies have to make cuts. They have to let go of employees. They have to maybe cut down salaries and things like that. They have to restructure to be more profitable or to survive the crisis. So these things come, and with them comes change. And if you're not prepared, or if you're too comfortable with the status quo, you would be, you know, you could go into a coma, you could go into a state of shock because of this, of the gravity of the change. So always be prepared. Anything can happen. Yeah. Put in the work, no pain, no glory. Yeah, goes without saying. Some challenges are the perfect launching pad to greater heights. So stay positive. So now you could be going through a very difficult time. You know, maybe you've not been able to realize your dreams, or maybe you've lost your job, or not gotten that promotion, or your job is changing. Sometimes these challenges are the perfect launching pad for a greater height, because with sometimes suffering brings about greatness, more greatness. So even as you go through challenges, try to look at the other side of it, that, okay, what opportunity is this? What door is being opened for me? You know, what could I then do to fill this, this gap? And look at it in a positive light as much as possible. It will help your overall morale. Life is much about perspectives. Consider also other perspectives. So it's not only about your point of view. I mean, people have different upbringings, different societies, there's so many different ways. It's not only about the way you think. So this is also about diversity as well, which is very important in the workplace. Try to also welcome other cultures, other views that are different from yours. Focus your energy on the positive. It reduces the negative. Take care of yourself. You need to be alive for your dreams to have a chance. So that's my final word of wisdom. Spread your wings and fly.
Okay, Kenechi, thank you very much for your second segment of the talk. Okay, and one thing I took from your final words was have a personal success plan, celebrate your success. Because most times we keep thinking of what we've not achieved yet. And also, that we should always prepare for change. We should not be comfortable wherever we are. So thank you very much for your talk.
Pleasure.
I'll hand over to Chisum for the vote of thanks. So I won't be able to take questions again.
Ah, okay, we're too late. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll hand over to Chisum.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening.
Hello, can
Hi,
you hear?
Chisom. Hello, Chisom.
Oh, good evening, Kenny. Good evening, professionals. Wow. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great, amazing. Wow, I don't know about any other person, but this has been an amazing session. You know, there's this saying that goes that before you can give, you would have to be, your cup would have to be filled, literally to the brim and overflowing for you to actually be able to give unto others. So there's no doubt that your cup is full, very much full to the brim and overflowing for you to be able to pour so much into us. Like I'm beaming with so much, I'm full, my notepad is full. I'm sure a lot of people, that is the same for them, you know. So it's been an amazing session. And I picked up one or two things from what from the session today. It seemed as though we're very much on the side of the employees. I saw a lot of jabs at the poor employers, but we understand these things. It goes both ways. We have bad employers, definitely, but we also have not so good employees, right? So, but of course, we all know that you understand the direction of the talk, so we get it. No taking it out of context or anything, and it also goes to say that sometimes we take ourselves, you do not take ourselves seriously, or we don't know what we have in our midst. Kenny is one of us. Kenechi is one of us. I don't know if a lot of us know her, but she's such an amazing, such an astute professional. We can see from her presentation how put together she is. I mean, she had a well put together presentation, PowerPoint presentation. She even had put up a, what will I call it, there was a website we all went to put down our thoughts, which made it very interactive and interesting, right? So this is somebody who put in the work. She took us seriously, she put in the work, and she came and she delivered, right? A lot of people here who may not know you, may not have heard anything about you prior to now, I'm sure they are smitten by you. They see that you're a very good professional. They want to do business with you because, come on, your presentation was just on point. There was one part and then there's another part. I mean, it was just too put together, so it's obvious that you're a leader. We could see the meticulousness, we could see the innovativeness, we could see empathy, we could see everything, right? So thank you very much, Kenechi. We can't say thank you enough. We all know you now, so we can come to you for mentorship, I'm sure. You're one of us. I'm sure you'll not turn us down. I'm sure a lot of people now will be waiting on to say, Kenechi, mentor me, So thank you very much on behalf of YCP and for myself. If not anybody else, I took a lot, and I'll definitely be coming to you to take more. So God bless you, and thank you. And please come back soon.
Thanks a lot, Chisom. Thanks. It's really my pleasure. And yeah, I love coaching. So yeah, let me know if you need a coach.
I'll hold you on that. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, Kenechi, please, will you be able to share your slide with us?
Yeah, I can share.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so Ada, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Because wow, like Chisom said, it was pretty explosive. Anyway, I really don't have much to say, but I'll probably just reserve my comments and But anyways, thank you very much, PD team. We're grateful. It was such a lovely day. I'll just quickly call on anyone who's joining us for the first time. Is anyone on the call joining this